You know what feels good? When you drink a good beer and you give to a good cause at the same time.
Hey, I got a great beer drinking story for you. It begins with a bear chasing my wife down the street.
And that's true. From the Bridgeport Brew Pub, the Beer Garden, Conshohocken Brewing Company, this is What's Brewing.
What's Brewing, brought to you in part by Monco Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board, download the app, and by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.
Ready? Fire!
Whoa! Hey, do you guys want to come with us?
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at the Beer Garden, the deck, here at Conshohocken Brewing Company. Actually, not a deck, it's a full beer garden right in front of the Schuylkill. Turned out to be a nice night in June.
It's beautiful here, and what a great place to wrap up our second season of our show.
Indeed, the Bridgeport Brew Pub at Conshohocken Brewing Company. We always begin with our swap. You're going first here today.
Well, I did,
What'd
because
you bring me?
I wanted to do something in honor of our last season. I mean, it really felt like, you know, we bonded quite a bit.
We did.
And I know you had some ups and downs over the years, specifically involving a bum wheel.
Yeah, a partial knee replacement. How does that play into
All
beer?
right, so in honor of your knee replacement, I brought in Knee Deep Midnight Hoppiness. I know you like hoppy beers.
I
and
do
thought
like a nice hoppy beer.
I'd bring you something, and this is, in fact, actually an old, well, sort of becoming old school. It's a black IPA,
Yeah.
a style of beer that we used to see around maybe 8-9 years ago. I reached into the archives for this
Wow,
one.
where's this made?
Knee Deep is from Northern California, near Sacramento.
Beautiful. Oh yeah.
Remember when these black IPAs were a thing?
They do, and I liked them, and I
Yeah.
was sorry to see that they kind of fell out of favor. I know everything's trendy, things
Yeah.
come, things go, hazy IPAs are all the rage, but to me this was a good style, and I would like to see this come back a little bit more.
It's a beautiful beer.
So are they still making this, or you just pulled
Yeah,
out an
no,
eight-year-old
no, it's
can
not
of
an
bottle of beer?
It's not an 8-year-old beer. It
Good,
is, in
well, that's
fact, a more recent vintage than that.
All right. So mine is also from California, and this is going to start you to tell a great story. This is Bear Republic Big Bear Black Stout, and I brought this today because there was, this is a true story, an episode with your wife and a bear and Roxborough.
Yes, it's true. People might have heard about the Philly Bear. It was a
this is
hashtag,
beautiful.
very big trending topic in the area.
There was a loose bear running around the city back in June, yeah.
The Mrs. Sixpack was on her way to work, teaching yoga, as we know. Looks up, she's not paying any real attention. She looks up, and here comes this bear bounding towards her. This is in the middle of Philadelphia, what, the 5th or 6th largest city in America.
Yeah.
A bear comes bounding after her. She looks at it, bolts from this bear, and jumps into a delivery truck in one bound. Doesn't, drops everything, bounds into this truck.
Was anybody in the truck?
No, but
Okay.
it's afterwards. The cops are all showing up afterwards. They're laughing at her. Unfortunately, they don't feel sorry for her. And it's only then that she realizes that she's in a grocery delivery truck, which would have been targeted by the bear under other circumstances.
I once saw a coyote in my backyard. I never saw a bear. This was an actual real bear.
Yeah, exactly.
How did it end for the bear?
Actually, pretty good. They eventually captured it. This is after they brought in helicopters and so on, and they tranquilized the bear. And last I heard, it was being taken to the woods in upper state Pennsylvania.
I would not be surprised. That bear, he likes Roxborough. It's a fine neighborhood. He may be coming back.
It's true.
Heroic work by your wife, however.
Exactly. Well, it took a few beers to calm her down after that. So.
All right. We are going to be taking some time off the summer months, and by the time we return, several new breweries looking to open up in the area. What do you got?
Yes, it's well, you know, there's always, it seems like a new brewery coming, but looking forward, we've got about a half dozen of them. Triple Bottom will be opened up by the time we come back. That's in the Loft District on Spring Garden Street, in the middle of several other breweries, including Roy Pitts and Love City. Twisted Gingers is coming to Roxborough, my hometown, small brewery there. Perkiomen Valley is going to be coming to Green Lane in Montgomery County. That's going to be an interesting brewery. Artifact Brewing coming to Hatboro, also in Montgomery County and down in Delaware. We've got Hangman Brewery coming soon.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. They're mostly small places, and you know, look for their beers mainly at the breweries, but eventually they'll get out there into bars and so on.
I wish them all success. All right, coming up next. Used to be you'd go to a brewery, you'd have a beer, you'd hang around, watch a ball game. Now, the number of activities is staggering. We're going to talk about that coming up next as I enjoy this fine blood money from the beer garden at Conshohocken Brewing Company, Bridgeport Brew Pub. This is What's Brewing. Hi, it's Glen Macnow. You've seen some of our Conshohocken Brewing Company spots on this show, so I'd like to invite you to come and check them out. You can find us in Conshohocken, Bridgeport, Phoenixville, King of Prussia, and here in Havertown, where I'm enjoying an award-winning Puddlers Row right now. It's one of our year-round core beers, along with Type A IPA and user-friendly blonde ale. We've also got exciting seasonal beers, like Blood Money IPA, Philly Vice, and our Unfiltered IPA series. And come hungry. From burgers and wings to salads and small bites, there's something for everyone. Don't leave without trying the amazing cheese curds. The warm weather is here, so you can enjoy yourself on one of our outdoor spaces. And good news, you can find Conshohocken beers at grocery stores, distributors, and restaurants throughout PA, South Jersey, and Delaware. So get yourself to Conshohocken Brewing Company. I'll meet you at the bar. Welcome back to What's Brewing. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow, enjoying a fine blood money here on the beer garden at Conshohocken Brewing Company, Bridgeport Brew Pub, where we do yoga sometimes. We have yoga days, and you've kind of, Joe Sixpack, because you get to everywhere, have come up with a list of odd things that people can do in breweries these
over
days.
the last, last 2 years, I've been collecting sort of weird events, weird brewery events, because you know the beer makers want to get their people out to their breweries, and you know beer is fine. Lots of good beer out there, but they want to attract fans with something else. So I came up with a number of the weird beer events.
What do you want to lead with?
Well, I got to start with axe throwing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I mean, it has become a thing. I thought, when the first time I heard about this, I thought this is insane. The first couple places that opened up, they weren't serving alcohol or was not part of it, but now there is a place in Old City called Kick Axe that is...
It's a good name.
Yeah, it is a good name, and you can drink beer and throw axes at targets.
So I mean, my obvious concern is that a good idea, having people drink beer and then giving them sharp weapons?
Options.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
you know,
I
they must have some kind of...
Good insurance?
Yeah, that too.
I haven't heard of any issues yet. It's become sort of like this social bonding thing.
Yeah, I would try it. It would be fun. You and
Uh,
me. Come on, next season.
maybe.
We'll go do it.
I'm more into darts, you know, something a little bit more genteel. I don't know.
I want to throw. I was a Game of Thrones fan. Give me the
All right,
big
that's right, the
broad
battle
axe.
axe,
That's right.
exactly.
All right, that's a good one. What else?
All right, so virtual reality is a thing, and we've seen this in a number of bars, notably Mad Max in Northern Liberties, which is a post-apocalyptic bar. Yeah, right, and they have, we won't
I don't
go
even
there.
know what that means,
but they
but
have,
okay.
They have a VR lounge, and you can, virtual reality lounge, and you can put on the goggles and
Right.
pretend that you're racing motorcycles
Okay.
or flying or visiting.
You know what? I could see that.
I don't need the goggles. I get that when I just drink
You
enough
just
beer.
drink enough beer. Okay. Let me give you one because it didn't work, but a guy called me up and wanted to do a thing where you would set up a barber chair in the brewery and you would like drink beer and then get your hair cut.
That is a great idea.
You think?
I think it's a great idea. There was.
Hey, buddy, call me back. I kind of put you off. Give me a call back.
I think it's a great idea. There was a brewery that tried doing makeovers, but it didn't really take off that well. So,
Okay. As long as the guy cutting your hair is not drinking too much beer, I
yeah,
guess it could work.
Right,
All right, what
exactly. All right, pro wrestling, Love City.
Yeah, we got video on this, huh?
Yeah, Love City has been hosted a chicara, which is sort of a Mexican style, you know, with the
with the masks.
Exactly.
Oh, that stuff's a riot.
They did a whole thing in their ring there at the brewery. Had a great crowd out.
I would go for that.
Great idea.
And they have enough room that they can set up the ring?
They do, and it's a local company that puts on this chicara event. So
you know
it's
what?
Pretty cool.
Let's do a show there next time.
I'm on. That
Right?
sounds
Tag
a lot of
team.
fun. Absolutely. Oh, man. No, hold it. What did I talk myself
I got the
into?
bad knee, but you know, we'll try it. You go first.
All right. My other favorite one that I noticed was a place that we had visited lately, or last year, I guess it was, in Phoenixville, Root Down Brewing.
Oh, good beer.
They hosted a drone racing event, which was really cool.
Inside the brewery?
Okay, so these drones, I thought, you know, we have a drone here in our production team. They do those great up shots, but those are about this size.
Yeah.
The drones at this place, in this event, were more the size of a beer can. And they fly them around, and they actually have it inside, but it's set up as a VR type of thing, and you fly these drones through hoops and so on. It's really cool. I'm sounding old because this is probably all over the place, but it was a pretty neat thing.
No, my kids had kind of that when they were little, like little helicopters. It's remote control. I mean, it's really the same thing.
It is,
Okay.
and it looks really
so they
neat.
set up an obstacle course, and you get it through,
Right.
and you win, you get to stay.
It looks pretty cool, but I wonder, you know, I think you can get points for knocking over beers, that sort of thing. So.
All right, yeah, maybe. All right, give me one or two more.
Okay, Mainstay Independent. They are making a big bid to attract families and with their kids, and we know we've talked about that over the past months, but they've actually set up a sort of a indoor playground that's for the kids, and it includes lawn games and a pirate ship themed playground.
I know how fond you are of having the kids out at the brew pubs, at the Conshohocken Brewing Company, the Havertown, the town tap. We have the big beer garden outside, and we have the all the playground equipment for the kids, and it's great because they play, and then the parents sit there.
Keeps
and
them
have a
over
nice
there.
beer.
They can
Yeah,
watch. I can
yeah.
appreciate that. I'll mention a couple others. We've talked about yoga over the time with the goats and the sort of thing. I know Conchi does that as
Never know
well.
when a bear's going to show up. Yeah.
Exactly, and crafts are becoming a big thing. You can now go to a brewery and they will have an event in which you make your own bonsai garden or macrame, jewelry, cutting
pottery
boards.
kind of
Exactly,
thing.
bring you in, you get a flight of beers,
You
and
know what?
then you make a
That's
product.
that's a good singles kind of event.
It is. I think it tends to, well, yeah, it probably is, or maybe
All right,
couples.
I want to know the weirdest thing you've ever seen at a brew pub, activity-wise.
Okay, all right, so I stumbled in on Hidden River Brewing last year, which is up near Pottstown. And it was just a perchance thing, and here they had a marionette show going on, a marionette show in a brewery. Pretty weird.
Takes you back to England in the Shakespearean
right,
days,
Punch and Judy, that whole kind of thing. Only this show was about a 19th century religious sex cult that operated out there.
Wait, you went to a pornographic marionette show?
Yes, yes.
Well, there you go.
It was
Puppets made out of wood. All right, good stuff. Not sure we're going to be doing that here at the beer garden, but you know, you never know. Stay tuned. All right, coming up next, we're going to really switch gears. We're going to talk about breweries, brew pubs that are making beers for good causes. We think that's a great thing. Next on What's Brewing. This is What's Brewing. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're at the beer garden right on the Schuylkill Conshohocken Brewing Company Bridgeport Brew Pub. Nice crowd gathering on a Wednesday night as we're enjoying ourselves. Now, Joe Sixpack, in our last episode, we talked about a collaborative, happen to have another can here, called the Bee's Knees, which is and $1.50 from each can goes to local hunger charities.
Yeah, this is a really nice gesture by Double Nickel and a number of other breweries locally. And, you know, it's become sort of a common theme among small breweries to donate a portion of their revenues towards charitable good, you know, charitable causes.
Yeah, now the biggest one was Sierra Nevada did one.
Yeah, that was huge.
That was not a little effort, that was a huge
Oh, my
effort.
word, that was amazing. After the Camp Fire, which destroyed so much of the towns in Northern California, more than 1,000 breweries got together and they made beer, the same recipe from one brewery to the next, and then donated a portion, or rather all the proceeds, to the recovery effort there. And it was a major success.
That was great, and it's really nice to see that going on. So I went to the store and I found a few others, actually a lot of them for kind of the same cause. And I got you this one. This is DC Brow. I'm not really familiar with this brewery. I know you are.
Down in
Washington.
Washington. They've been around a little bit, and I've not seen this beer though. This is called what? Pride
It's
Pills?
called Pride Pills, and it's a German-style lager brewed and canned in Washington, 4.5 alcohol by volume, and a portion of the proceeds go to benefit LGBT
various causes.
pride charities. Yeah, causes.
It's
So-
actually I love the label, and yeah, I've not had this one, and you know I'm a big fan of Pilsner, so
Yeah,
it's great to
me
see
too.
this.
Nice can,
Yeah,
nice looking, light looking beer. As I said, 4.5%.
right.
It's made in combination with the Washington Blade, which is a news source down there.
It is.
So
yes.
they did it with them. Here's
Right.
to you.
Cheers. Well, they made a really nice beer for the cause
Yeah,
too.
very
This
nice.
is just
Yeah,
not
it's
just
a
a
good
throw
beer.
off. This is a good beer.
Right. So we're taping this in June as it's Pride Month, LGBT Pride Month, and I found this other one. Again, really nice effort. I admire the cause.
Rainbow Seeker.
Rainbow Seeker Pineapple and Sage Hard Cider. I'm not so much a hard cider. You don't need me to open this one?
No, I'll pass
Sure?
on that.
Okay.
I will pass on that.
All right.
Well,
Good cause, but not sure I particularly
I
want to
have
try
a
it.
certain antipathy to cider. I'll try them on occasion, but
Yeah.
but it does raise a good point. If you make a beer, if a brewery sells a beer for a good cause, is that enough reason to go drink that beer?
One.
One at least,
Yeah,
okay.
one.
All right.
I'll try one of anything if it's for a good cause, and I know that some of the money's going to that. To have the second one, I got to like it, but you know what? You'll get me in the door. You'll get me to buy it.
Right.
Yards has done this with its pink, right?
Right, pink beer, which has been around for a while. It's their raspberry beer, and it's been around since 2013. And since they dropped that beer back then,
And what's the cause?
it's for it's a number of charities. I believe it's breast cancer, so it's the
Okay.
whole pink thing.
Very nice.
And they have raised over almost, I think, $45,000 for charities
That's
since
good.
then.
A couple weeks ago on this show, we tried the Sly Fox Alex's Lemonade Wheat Ale, I think it was.
Right,
Part
right.
of which goes to continue the Alex's mission for all kinds of childhood
Right,
cancer.
another
It was a good
childhood
beer.
cancer thing. Yeah, exactly. Good beer. That gets out there a lot, and I think generally speaking, people do sort of get first of all, they already have a constituency. People who support that charity
Sure.
will buy that beer, and you do feel good, I guess, buying those beers as well.
Absolutely. And Victory Headwaters has one for the last 7-8 years.
Yeah, I love that beer.
Victory Headwaters.
That's a great beer for the cause of the Philadelphia watersheds.
Okay, good stuff. All right, one other thing I wanted to get to, and this bothers me. We had talked earlier about new breweries opening, and I'm all in favor of that. The more the merrier. But this is an outsider invasion, Joe Sixpack,
All right,
and
now-
I don't like it.
All right, I know it's an outsider invasion. That doesn't bother me so much. I know there's something specifically about this outsider group that bothers you. This has to do with the Night Shift Brewing Company from
Boston.
Boston.
Listen, my wife's from Boston. I got family in Boston. More power to them. Stay on your own side
Right.
of the Hudson River, whatever.
We're Philly guys.
Right.
We're Philly guys.
It's not like we don't have enough great breweries, local people with aspirations here.
Exactly.
Stay
Well,
in your own town.
nonetheless, Night Shift Brewing of Boston has announced they haven't really announced that much. It's sort of becoming in,
Yeah, sneaking in.
Exactly, sneaking in.
All right, by night. One
They're-
if by day, two if by night, whatever the heck it
Oh,
was.
love that historical reference.
I think it was wrong, but whatever.
Anyway, they're coming in. They want to buy a facility in Roxborough, or open up a brewery in Roxborough that unbelievably is twice the size of Yards Brewing, that big plant that they opened up in Northern
Yards
Liberty.
it's got to be just about the biggest place around.
It is. It is. It's a massive place. They want to come down here. They've been very successful. Night Shift Brewing, very successful in the Boston area. I had to say that as much as they are out of town interlopers, at least 2 or 3 of the people involved in the brewery are originally from Philly, so they know the area. I know. I'm not making excuses here. I'm on the same page as you on this one, Glenn.
We are here in this show to promote all forms of good beer, all kinds, all great causes and everything. Boston, I love you. I'll go visit you when I visit my son. Stay in your own part of town. Was I emphatic enough?
Yes, absolutely.
Here you go.
Agreed.
All right, coming up, we are going to talk. We're going to talk with about beer cocktails for the summer with one of the great mixologists here at
All right.
Conshohocken Brewing Company with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. Stay tuned. More good stuff coming up right here on What's Brewing.
I'm Joe Sixpack. I love beer and I love travel. I've visited great breweries around the world, and I'm inviting you to join me on my next expedition to France. Yes, they make beer in France. We'll travel the Seine on a luxury river cruise from Paris to Normandy. We'll visit breweries, explore the sights, drink great beer, and maybe some wine. Join me in October 2020. Just visit my website at phillybeerworld.com. Let's discover a world of beer together.
Welcome back to What's Brewing. We're at the Beer Garden, the beautiful Beer Garden, Bridgeport Brew Pub, Conshohocken Brewing Company. Look at the treats in front of us. Mike Leister, who is the
Beverage manager.
We've been
I love
drinking
that name.
beer
I love the
all day, but Mike's got special treats for us, which are beer cocktails.
Yes, yes.
How did that become a thing?
So with the craft cocktail blowing up and craft beer blowing up, why not just blend the two together? So I went with classic margarita, throw some beer in there, make it a little bit more spicy, and mojito is like the classic summer drink. And blueberry mojitos are blowing up like crazy.
Sure.
All over the internet you see blueberry, or you see Berliner Weiss mojitos because of the tartness of the Berliner Weiss, so we do a blueberry.
We'll talk a little bit more about these, but Glenn, beer cocktails.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Have you done them before?
Well, yeah, you and I did it once before when we used to have a podcast. One day Joe Sixpack, we probably bought 8 bottles of liquor and 2 cases of beer and all kinds of accompaniers, and we got a little excessive that day.
But I kind of remember that we were just dropping shots of whiskey into
Into
cans
beer
of
glasses,
PBR.
yes.
I mean, we're doing
Nothing-
Boilermakers.
Nothing that looked this good.
No,
All right,
no.
I'm going to steal one, okay? We're talking, this looks great to me. What is this one?
That right there is the beer garita.
The beer
Beer
garita.
garita. Ooh.
Nice. All right, do I squeeze this in here?
If you would love, if you would love to,
Sure,
please
I would
go
love
for
to.
it.
Thank you, Mike. There you
Nice
go.
salty rim.
There's a salty rim. Yes, I can see
Salty
that.
rim.
Oh, that's good. It's really nice. And listen, I drink liquor. I drink cocktails. Usually I drink the brown liquors more than the cocktails. But this, particularly in the summer, sit out here in the beer garden, have one of these. Come on, you can't beat this.
All right, tell me about this one with the fruit salad in the top.
So that is the Vice City Mojito. This is a classic blueberry mojito topped off with the Philly Vice
Is there
blueberry
actual-
Berliner Weiss.
Is that blueberry?
There are
Actual blueberries in
muddled
there?
in there. There's lime muddled in there, a little bit of mint.
Okay.
Get all your fruits and veggies.
You got all your basic food groups right there in a glass, really healthy.
A little bit
Not sure you're
more
supposed to put the
flavorful than
lime
a
up
bloody,
your nose
but
there, Joseph Back, but you know, go for it.
Hey, come on. Do I tell you how to drink here?
No, you don't. You let me enjoy. All right, and what is this third one?
So this guy is our manmosa. It's kind of like a mimosa, but
Yeah.
with beer and a little bit of vodka, some orange juice.
Nice. Okay. So what are the rules in Pennsylvania about a brew pub being able to carry liquor?
So we only carry local liquors that are made in Pennsylvania. So our vodkas and such come from Lansdale, and our tequila comes from Harrisburg.
Oh, that's nice.
Vodka and tequila. Are you able to find anything other like the brown whiskeys or the brown
We
liquors
could-
that Glenn was talking about?
We do. We carry Boardroom Northbound bourbon and Kinsey rye in-house all the time.
So it's got to be a lot of fun being a beverage manager and being able to pick from a pretty good variety of all these growing distilleries.
It's hard to find stuff that you actually like the taste of it.
Okay.
There's plenty of distilleries around that actually make wonderful flavors, but being able to blend them and make them
Gotcha.
into delicious
Yeah.
cocktails is kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah, so you're like an alchemist, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right, experiment and so on, and say like, hey, you like this? No, that didn't work. Let's try this. That's a
Servers
winner.
and bartenders say that I bring out my laboratory when I come to the bar, and I'm like, let's just try this
Mixologist.
here, throw this here. Yeah, shake it together. Throw some fruit in there.
Well, the one thing that I wonder always when we talk about mixing beers with anything, whether it's food or what have you, is the hops that are in beer tend to be, especially the bitterness tends to be a little bit tough to play with. Can you make a sweet drink with a bitter beer?
You could. It would all depend on the flavor of the liquor that you're putting in there, and then you can use my favorite friend of simple syrup or agave,
yeah.
and you just totally change the flavor of everything.
Okay.
Like in this right here, I use golden light agave, and it kind of really cuts the flavor of that IPA that
So
we use.
is your background historically as a bartender? Or
Correct.
How did, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you came into this knowing how to mix. You're a
Yes.
bartender. Excuse me. You're a mixologist.
I would like to say that
I believe so. All right,
I'm
we
the
got to
bar
get to
man.
something else really quick. Joe Sixpack, all season long, we've been doing our brew down, our IPA brew down. We started with 36 different IPAs. We asked you, our viewers, to pick the best one every week on my social media, my Twitter page, at Real Glen Macnow, his at Beer Radar. We're down to the finals.
We got down to the finals.
You introduce it, pal.
All right, Glenn, we did in the go-to division. This was the champion. It clobbered everybody all year long. The Bell's Two-Hearted Ale.
It's a great beer out
Great
of Michigan.
beer. Exactly. You can find it everywhere too. It is in fact a go-to beer. Anytime you want an IPA, you can get this one. It's a 7% alcohol IPA, classic style. And then this one. This was the sort of the fan favorite all year locally from Tired Hands, Alien Church IPA, and it pretty much was dominant through the whole thing. So it was a great matchup between the two.
It was a great matchup, and here's the final vote. You and I just got this within the last half hour
Yes.
of doing this. The final vote, Bell's Two-Hearted, 203 votes. Tired Hands, Alien Church, 209. A squeaker.
6 votes.
6 vote difference out of
That's
more
amazing.
than 400 casts. Congratulations to Tired Hands. Of the 36 we put in, this was the most popular.
Okay, we've got to figure out. You got to go over to Ardmore and pick up your 4-packs of it. I'm sure it'll be
There
more
you go. Yes.
popular than ever.
Yes,
So-
and absolutely, and congratulations to them. Hey, we are going to take a little break over the next couple weeks. Joe Sixpack and I need to work on our suntans, so we're going to head to the beach. Mike, you look terrific. So
thank you.
look for us. Follow us on social media. As I said, we're going to take a little time off, and then we are delighted to tell you that What's Brewing will be back for a 3rd season not too far from now. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for
Pleasure,
having us
pleasure.
here at the Beer Garden. And everybody, thanks for watching us all season long. It is our delight to do this show. Mostly we sit around and drink.
Yep.
So how can we argue with that?
Got a couple more to polish off right now.
A couple more to work on. And again, thank you everybody for viewing. We will be back in a little bit on What's Brewing.
What's Brewing, brought to you in part by Monco Makers, powered by the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board, download the app, and by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, now with 5 locations.